What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and so much of the kind of like woke nonsense comes from a position of extreme entitlement. Young men and women growing up, never having faced any real adversity in their life, so they create it. They create oppression because they really want to be a victim, even though they're not. And last week we saw a good bit of melting down going on, but this is probably my favorite F around and find out scenario here, where a woke employee who refused to work while he was quote unquote mourning the Supreme Court's decision has now been fired. Essentially, a great woke F around and find out moment. You see the tweet, a lot of the reaction to the story. We're going to take a look at that. But we'll start with the article. Woke employee who refused to work while mourning the SCOTUS decision has been fired. Can't think of a better way to celebrate the 4th of July, although I do have some grilling to do after this video. Well, one more video, then grilling. A woke Universal Music Group worker claims he was fired for, quote, speaking up about women's rights. After he admitted he refused to work, he was, quote, in mourning over the Supreme Court's decision. Now, in any other world, like a world with regular people, normal people, if you were to go to work and tell your boss that you are triggered and you refuse to work, you would get fired. This is a very simple cause and reaction type of scenario. Now, if you work in Silicon Valley, I admit that those rules are different. If you work for like Facebook or Twitter or whatever, you could probably get away with this. Michael Lopez, a production coordinator for Universal Music Enterprises, blasted the company as anti-LGBT for terminating a queer brown person during Pride Month. This is so hilarious. There's a lot to unpack in this sentence. Being a member of the LGBTQ community is not a personality trait. It's not anything interesting. You either do your job or you don't. The fact that so many in this community, and I'm really just talking about these weirdos that are terminally online. I've never met somebody in real life who is gay who acts like this. Maybe it's because I live in the Midwest. I don't know, but I've never actually met anyone who blames everything bad that happens in their life on like some sort of phobia or something like that. People are just like, oh, I got a raw deal, just like anyone else. Last Friday, like countless other folks, I was devastated. As a gay man, you were devastated by a Supreme Court ruling that has absolutely zero to do with you and will never have anything to do with you. Okay, curious. Last Friday's council says I was devastated by the news of the Supreme Court's paired with the flood. Oh, okay. Supreme Court's rules on women, gay brown man most affected. Got it. Paired with the flood of anti-queer and trans legislation, name one thing. Can you name one thing? A flood would certainly indicate numerous legislative decisions against that community, discriminatory against that community. So, I mean, you said it. So I assume there is some sort of, facts to back that up. No, there's not. Oh, okay. I was surprised here. Okay. It's been hard to process how companies expect us to be productive while our rights are being stripped away. Again, you are a man that doesn't even enjoy the company of women, so you will never have to worry about reproductive rights. This is not about you. You had a whole month about you. And now you're like, well, wait, I like that feeling. I like when everyone around me has to tell me how stunning and brave I am for being born a certain way, and that I'm some sort of special snowflake. I need that to continue. He then went on to explain that each Friday, one of my tasks was to process reports for upcoming releases, and then to email his work to 275 people. But instead of doing his usual process reports, doing his job, he wrote an email that read, I didn't do them today. Quote, I'm in mourning due to the attack on people with uteruses. Oh, people with uteruses, huh? You mean women? Vivendi and Universal Music Group must stop donating. I like when like plebeian employees make demands. That's like my favorite meme of 2022 is that like plebeian employees making demands of their companies. Like, I'm a wagey. I'm easily replaceable. Now listen to me, company. You need to do what I say or else. Politicians like so on and so forth. A spokesperson for Universal Music Group told the Post that, quote, as a matter of policy, we cannot discuss an individual's personnel record. We can say what was posted on social media is, quote, inaccurate. Oh, whoopsies. UMG has a long record of support for women's issues, the spokesperson said. As we wrote to our U.S. employees, UMG's reviews reproductive health care as essential. In the wake of the recent SCOTUS ruling, the company has extended its efforts to assure that these important healthcare services remain accessible to employees. Now, we see a lot of companies, come out and say like, hey, we're going to pay for tourism so you can go on vacation and get these procedures done. We're going to pay for whatever. And sure, that's their right. We all know the reason they're doing it is because it's much cheaper to do that than to pay for maternity leave. But that's neither here nor there. Certainly there are some that are doing it for ideological reasons. After sending the loaded email, Lopez said he received several supportive replies from coworkers, but was told by a manager to, quote, take the rest of the day off. Nothing better than some idiot at the company abusing the all-company email address to send out some political nonsense. So when he returned to work the following Monday, he was greeted with a, quote, surprise Zoom video chat with HR. What? You're surprised by that? You sent an email out to the company, to 275 people, who, by the way, many of them probably relied on you to do that work so that they could do their work. And then you were surprised on Monday when HR wanted to talk to you. That's like the perfect explanation of how these clowns, these entitled clowns, like, how do you even get through life? And you send out that email, you get told, take the rest of the day off, and then you come in Monday and you are shocked and appalled that HR wants to talk with you. By the way, if you're viewing this video and you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do click that red subscribe button down below. If you're here on YouTube or if you're watching on BitChute, Rumble, or Odyssey, please subscribe there as well. It helps immensely. When he returned to work, he was surprised with a Zoom call. I was being let go for, quote, paraphrasing, not doing your job and disrupting the day of 275 people and poor judgment. By the way, all three reasons, entirely reasonable reasons to fire somebody. Lopez then said he sent a follow-up to the email list informing his colleagues. By the way, usually when you get fired, you don't get access to your email and stuff like that for this very reason. Quote, just got fired for this email on Friday, so they're letting you know where they stand on employees speaking out on politicians that support marginalization for folks like me, he reportedly wrote according to his lengthy LinkedIn post. By the way, no, they are not speaking for that at all. This is like the delusional, it's like that lunatic I wasted time with yesterday on Twitter. It's like they just reject reality and insert their own, and they believe like if they believe it hard enough that it's actually the truth. No, the company was not firing you for speaking out. Your company was firing you for using company time and your company email address, work time to quote unquote speak out. They weren't saying that you couldn't speak out in private or in your free time or to meet with your coworkers off the clock. They didn't say any of that stuff. He opined, a brown queer person terminated during Pride Month. Oh, yes. You are unfireable during an entire month of the year based on who you sleep with. This is somebody that their entire life has been surrounded fueled by their victimhood mentality. The fact that they themselves, of their own free will, decided to use work time, a work email address, to send out a political-ish type email, right? And then after getting consequences, saying, well, this is obviously because I'm queer. I can't exactly. You can see the top comment right here. Actually, the reason he got fired is even more basic. He got fired because he acted on an incorrect interpretation of what happened, coupled with a complete lack of understanding of civics. Another endorsement of the American educational system. Here's another reply. Good, this has to stop. You go to work and you get paid to perform a job. Keep social and political issues outside the workplace. If you cannot or refuse to perform the duties in which you are paid, then you lose your job. Seems fair. I remember when social and political opinions were taboo in the workplace. Oh, they still are everywhere else. Like in the real world, you keep the like socio-political conversations and whatnot out of work. It's just not the place for it. All right. You have the other 16 hours of the day to talk politics, to cope and seethe, to do whatever it is that you want to do. And you just don't do it at work. It's really not that complicated. And most of the people replying here, he's a live to take that smile. You see, this man knew the risk. He stood up and did what's right anyway. Wasn't slacking or taking a day off. Actually, he was. He was using this platform. He had to speak up. No, he wasn't. He was using his work's platform. He was slacking off, and he deserved to be fired. 100% consequences of your actions. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.